Now, so my question for you, since we all know this knowledge, we're a little in denial of it. You know, if we burn all these reserves you talk about, you can kiss future generations goodbye. Now, maybe we'll find a solution to take it out of the air, but as you know, we don't have one. So what are you going to do about this? We need your help to do something about this.
Well, let me say that we have studied that issue and continue to study it as well. We are and have been longtime participants in the IPCC panels. We author many of the IPCC subcommittee papers, and we peer review most of them. So we are very current on the science, our understanding of the science, and importantly, and this is where I'm going to take exception to something you've said, the competency of the models to predict the future. We've been working with a very good team at MIT now for more than 20 years on this area of modeling climate, which, since obviously it's an area of great interest to you, you know and have to know the competencies of the models are not particularly good. Now, you can plug in assumptions on many elements of the climate system that we cannot model, and you know what they all are. We cannot model aerosols, we cannot model clouds, which are big, big factors in how the CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere affect temperatures at surface level. The models we need, and we are putting a lot of money supporting people and continuing to work on these models, try and become more competent with the models. But our ability to predict with any accuracy what the future is going to be is really pretty limited. So our approach is we do look at the range of the outcomes. And try and understand the consequences of that. And clearly there's going to be an impact. So I'm not disputing that increasing CO2 emissions in the atmosphere is going to have an impact. It'll have a warming impact. How large it is what is very hard for anyone to predict. And depending on how large it is, then projects how dire the consequences are. As we have looked at the most recent studies coming out in the IPCC reports, which I've seen the drafts, and I can't say too much because they're not out yet. But when you predict things like sea level rise, you get numbers all over the map. If you take what I would call a reasonable scientific approach to that, we believe those consequences are manageable. They do require us to begin to exert or spend more policy effort on adaptation. What do you want to do if we think the future has sea level rising 4 inches, 6 inches? Where are the impacted areas, and what do you want to do to adapt to that? And as human beings, as a species, that's why we're all still here. We have spent our entire existence adapting. Okay, so we will adapt to this. Changes to weather patterns that move crop production areas around, we'll adapt to that. It's an engineering problem, and it has engineering solutions. And so the fear factor that people want to throw out there to say, we just have to stop this, I do not accept. I do believe we have to be efficient and we have to manage it, but we also need to look at the other side of the engineering solution, which is how are we going to adapt to it? And there are solutions. It's not a problem that we can't solve.